Monday's lunch partner here on Cody and Gold. Listen, things are not great for the Chiefs right now. They're frankly a little bit embarrassing, if we're being completely honest with ourselves, obviously. I mean, team 6-10, everybody's hurt or on IR or not hurt and on IR at this point. We don't know. But, hey, small consolation is that game on Christmas might have been more embarrassing for the Broncos. I mean, come on. Really? That's the struggle you have, Denver. Mind you, this is the 1 seed in the AFC, I'll point out. Now, yeah, all right, you may be saying like, oh, small consolation. Hey, small victories are what we have right now, Chiefs fans. The Broncos beat us, but they beat us by 7 with all their horses. No Jalen Watson, no Trent McDuffie, and Bo Nix only threw for 182 yards. He threw a pick in this football game. Which, hey man, shout out Nick Bolton. I don't know, did you see that, Nathan? A football hit Nick Bolton directly in the hands, and he managed to catch it. It's somewhat of a miracle.
It's like 5th time's a charm?
Yeah.
Is that what they say?
I guess so, because the number of times that we have seen a football, whether it be thrown directly at him or it caroms off of an opposing player or another defender, a tip drill situation, and he finds unique ways to drop the football. This time he didn't. The ball did hit the ground as he caught it, but it didn't move around. He was able to hold on to it. Again, no Jalen Watson, no Trent McDuffie. You threw for 182 yards. That's embarrassing, Denver. The Chiefs ran 41 offensive plays. They had 66 yards passing and 82 yards rushing. They had less than 150 yards of offense, and again, you only won by 7. This is a 1 seed? This is a team that people are talking about having a legitimate chance of winning a Super Bowl. I didn't buy it then, and I don't buy it now.
I'm not sure who people are. I'm not taking them as a serious Super Bowl contender. I mean, I guess they'll have the 1 seed, so all they have to do is win 2 games at home, assuming they don't lose and New England wins next weekend, or Jacksonville or anybody else. And I think the Chargers are going to be resting at least some of their team. So I'm presuming the Broncos have the 1 seed. It'll be the easiest path. I don't see this team beating Buffalo and New England or Houston and Buffalo or combinations of those teams in back-to-back weeks. Not after the performance they put up against Chris Oladokun on Christmas.
I mean, they have a defense that is capable of winning a Super Bowl. That I don't think should be argued, right? But so do the Houston Texans. And I don't think the Texans are a Super Bowl contender. Their offense is going to have to do enough at some point in this postseason. And I'm not sure they're capable of it. I like RJ Harvey, but I just don't think he's there yet to be a featured every down back. Maybe he will be at some point. I don't know. But 3.1 yards a carry on Christmas Day doesn't really impress me. Not with a Chiefs team that was without so many guys. I mean, obviously most of it was in the secondary, but, no Leo Chenal in that game. And so they were a little banged up on the front 7 as well. You managed 128 yards as a team on 32 carries, but the majority of that came off the legs of Bo Nix, who ran for 42 yards on his own on 9 touches, and Jaleel McLaughlin, who had 7 carries for 40. I am with you. I think that if you end up in a scenario where if you're Denver and even if you have home field advantage, even if New England is coming to Mile High Stadium in Denver, the Broncos defense is better than the Patriots defense. I will not argue that. But the Patriots offense is light years better than the Broncos offense. So if the Broncos play a good offensive game, I still think the Patriots are still capable of putting 18 to 24 points on that Broncos defense. I don't think that the Broncos offense is talented enough or capable enough to match that score in the inverse.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think I would take either New England or Buffalo to beat Denver if it is in Denver because of their ability to control the game on the ground. Now, no matter who they play, the opponent's going to have to get into a defensive, grind it out, maybe inclement weather, sort of just nasty, sloppy football game. Houston, I believe they can't control the line of scrimmage as well, at least offensively. And so then the Broncos' defensive formula comes into play, right? Get home with your front four, have that sticky secondary, all over Nico Collins and Dalton Schultz and profit. Man, James Cook or, Henderson and Stevenson, they stay ahead of the sticks. I think it's a long day for Denver. I don't think Denver's going to be able to keep up offensively with anybody. The difference is, well, maybe there's not that dominant offense in the bracket, so that plays to Denver's favor. So, the teams that can run the football and sort of control the game offensively are the ones that I think match up poorly for Denver. So can they avoid those teams? Like, can New England and Buffalo play each other in the divisional round based on matchups, and so Denver advances? I mean, sure, but I think eventually they will have to play one of those teams. And even if it's at home, I'm not taking them seriously. I'm not picking them in that matchup.
Yeah, so as of right now, you're looking at Buffalo is the 7 and New England is the 2. So congratulations, Patriots. You won the division and you're the 2 seed in the AFC. Your prize is you have to play the Bills a third time. Hey, you get them at home at least, but I don't really want to play Buffalo 3 times if I'm New England. Now, there's definitely a real chance that they could leapfrog a little bit, could the Buffalo Bills, with the Chargers playing the Broncos this week. And like you said, LA may rest some of their guys because they don't really have anything to play for right now. And Houston, currently sitting with the 5 seed, they've got the Colts on Sunday, a Colts team that is 0-3 since the loss of Daniel Jones, or 0-4 even maybe. But I think that Buffalo's probably going to be the 6 seed, I would say. I think Los Angeles probably loses to Denver next week, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. So New England might be able to avoid Buffalo, at least in the wild card round, and likely ends up playing the Chargers. But I'm with you. I think that you're going to have to face one of the two sooner rather than later. And I hate that I look around the rest of the AFC and nobody else really jumps out. I mean, the Jacksonville Jaguars are 12-4, but they don't jump out to me as a serious, like, championship contender. They just don't. Frankly, nobody in the AFC jumps out as a championship contender. I think if I'm a team in the NFC, if the NFC doesn't win the Super Bowl this year, that should be looked at as a massive, massive disappointment for that conference. Because anybody with eyes who is watching the NFL this season will say the NFC is the better of the 2 leagues inside the NFL, and it's not particularly close.
Yeah, it's not close. I'm with you.
I mean, and the crazy thing is that the Seahawks are looking to possibly be the 1 seed in that league. Yeah. And I'm not sure they're the 4th best team in the NFC, which is just, again, goes to show you that the NFL has been a bizarre league this year.
I do think the AFC might be more competitive, though. I think the teams might be more evenly matched, even though the talent is much, much better on the NFC side. I think there are probably 5 NFC teams I would take to win the AFC if they were in that bracket.
Agreed.
I'm taking any of the 3 NFC West teams. I'm definitely taking the Eagles and probably the Bears to win the AFC bracket if they were just on that side. Now, I don't think the NFC South winner has a real chance. And the Packers, without Micah Parsons, I don't think they're winning 3 road playoff games. In the AFC, I might think the Packers would have a real chance as well. So maybe 6 teams would be viewed as like near favorites in the AFC. Whereas on that side, I mean, who doesn't have a chance? Like, I've seen every team in the AFC lose games they shouldn't lose and win games they shouldn't win. Like the Steelers lost to the Browns yesterday, but then have turned around and beat really good teams. The AFC North champion is probably the only weak link, in my opinion, in the AFC playoffs. But it's a field where, Logan, a second ago you said you don't think the Houston Texans are Super Bowl contenders. I absolutely think they are Super Bowl contenders. I think they might be the third best team in the AFC. And that's less due to like how good they are and more of an indictment on the conference as a whole.
I don't disagree. I don't. I mean, Jacksonville has obviously, first and foremost, I think, found its identity a little bit. Trevor Lawrence in the last 2 months of this season has found himself a little bit more. It took him a little bit. But I think right around that Chiefs game, beating Kansas City, I think kind of unlocked a little bit of something in Trevor Lawrence, and he has been a much better player since then. And, I mean, he didn't throw for a touchdown yesterday against the Colts, but still threw for 263 yards and completed 62% of his throws. Did have one pick, but in the last 4 weeks, this man has 10 touchdowns to 1 interception and has well over 1,100 yards passing. Really, really solid numbers for Trevor Lawrence as of late. One thing, Bink was going to do the show this morning. I got called in last minute to do it. Bink, in discussing the game on Thursday, he makes the take of you can't call the Chiefs poorly coached after that game on Thursday. And I kind of go back and forth. I see where his sentiment comes from, playing with backups and third stringers and lost to what could be the 1 seed in the conference by a single, possession. I'm not sure what to make of you can't call the Chiefs poorly coached after that game.
Well, I think, I don't want to speak for Bink, but I think it's fair to say he's really upset at the fire Andy Reid takes. And so I think we would have been in for a good dosage of a lecture probably from Bink if he were in today. But, Miss Bink, glad you're in today, Logan. I'm glad we're still able to do this thing. I'm with him to an extent. I think Andy Reid, more so than being the offensive, mastermind or genius, is a leader of men. He knows how to get guys to pull on the same end. All those things, the rah-rah, the players coach, whatever you want to throw out there about Andy Reid. I do think there are significant coaching issues elsewhere on this team. I think there's a need for a new voice offensively on the special team side at multiple position groups, especially offensively. And I think more than anything, there's flexibility that's needed within Andy Reid's structure. But I'm absolutely with Jay Binkley when it comes to Andy Reid. The fire Andy Reid conversations are insane. There is no reason, and when you're looking at it from this side of the coin, instead of the Broncos being embarrassed, there's no reason that the number 1 seed should almost fall to a team quarterbacked by Chris Oladokun, where Jalen Royals is your starting receiver. Tackles are Chu Godric and Esapole. All due respect to those guys. And Esapole, by the way, has played really well. Those guys have no business competing with the 1 seed in the AFC. They just don't. So you do have to give credit where it's due when it comes to Andy Reid.
Oh, I don't disagree. I think a lot of my pushback this year has been on the people's complaints of Matt Nagy. And my statement has been that we're blaming a symptom rather than maybe a larger collective part of the disease itself, which, I'm not advocating for the firing of Andy Reid. I never have been. I feel like we're definitely leapfrogging way too hard in that situation. You're really putting the cart before the horse a little bit. There's obviously things wrong, and Andy has to do some things differently. And he's going to be the first one to try to identify what those things are because he knows something's wrong. But advocating for the firing of a guy after you just went to back-to-back-to-back Super Bowls, winning 2 of the 3, you're going way too far, way too fast in that situation. And my thought is those that are advocating for firing Matt Nagy is like, are you really saying fire Andy Reid, but you just don't have the guts to say it? That's always been my pushback on it. And we'll talk maybe a little bit more of that scenario coming up with Matt Nagy, because some interesting details have come out regarding his contract, which is set to expire at the end of the year. And we may talk about where we think things go from there. Somebody in the text line said it was more of an indictment on the Broncos than a kudos for the Chiefs. And I mean, I really agree with that. That this is a team you had to bury. I mean, everybody in the league is burying the Raiders right now. Everybody in the league is burying the Jets right now. The Chiefs right now, with all the injuries that they have and all the guys that are sitting here at the end of the year, let's be honest, are sitting in that category with backups and third stringers, guys that would not start on other teams in this league even. You got to bury them. When a team's down, don't let them up. And the Broncos more or less played for their food for 60 minutes and let this thing stay really, really close. Listen, the Chiefs were leading at halftime. The Kansas City Chiefs were up at halftime of this football game. False, it was a division game and they are always played close. Also, Broncos just dropped the ball multiple times. Division games are always played close. Always. Like exclusively, division games are always close. Is that why the Vikings beat the Lions by 2 scores on Christmas Day? Is that why, for example, the Patriots hung 42 on the Jets yesterday? I mean, I understand that when you play teams twice a year, the games are going to be a little bit more tightly contested, but not when it's a terrible football team. The Chiefs beat the Raiders 31-0 earlier this year. Absolutely walked them down. I don't necessarily agree with the sentiment that it was a division game and that's the reason why it was close. I think anybody in their right mind that would see Chris Oladokun starting at quarterback for the Chiefs would have anticipated the Chiefs getting blown out by the Denver Broncos.
It's not even about the Chiefs' success on offense. To me, it's their success on defense that gives me pause about Denver going into the playoffs. Like, this is a defense that I saw Cam